All right. And we're live. Here we are. We're not live. I don't know why I said that. There goes your phone. I'm not saying the right words. Anyways, happy Monday. Welcome back, everyone. How's it going, Jen?
It's going. Still
All
not
right.
at Hello Hairco.
Yeah. All right. Today we're going to talk about why most salon owners stay stuck. Obviously, we're going to do an opening take, but let's start with that, the brief of sort of where we are, because that's what we've been doing each week. I think this is week 4.
May ever go.
We're heading into week 4.
Can you even believe it?
So we've been displaced for a month. And if you've been following along or not, you can go back and listen to the beginning of the episodes. So for the last 3 weeks, I suppose.
Yeah.
We've been giving updates. We're close.
We are.
We're in the last
final stretch. Yeah.
Final stretch. Yeah. I don't really know what else to say. Our flooring was delivered. It was delivered early.
Yep.
The floors are being prepped. The walls are done.
Yep.
Paint is done. There's still some touch-up spots, but not not anything major. I think that's it. We're just in the home stretch, so we're really waiting. What will happen is the floors will go in, baseboards will get painted and put on, equipment will be moved back in, and then we're going to have to assess the equipment. Mm-hmm. We have some stuff that we know was damaged, so we've already ordered some stuff. What's that beeping?
That's my text. I don't know how to turn that off.
Oh, so I'll show you that, a different show, because that's annoying.
Do you always hear it or just now?
Oh, wait, I don't think every episode I'm hearing it, but it's been a few dings now.
Interesting.
You just have to put it on Do Not Disturb.
I can try while you're talking.
So, no, that's it. That's all I've got. So I think we should dive in with our opening takes. Sorry for the delay. You know what I was doing? I was putting my computer in Do Not Disturb.
I don't know how to do that. I'm going to turn my phone off and see if that helps.
It won't. Now your phone's just off.
No.
Are you going to go with your opening take?
Oh, sure. You want me to go? Okay. So I had, actually, this just happened to me. I think it was yesterday. A client that's a salon client of Hello's. I'm always having to fix her haircut. Someone else will do it, and I have to go over and just basically finish it or detail it or something. She has a very difficult haircut. So she decided to book with me online because I had an opening last night because I've been kind of having a reduced schedule. And long story short, I should have put her to wait till we go back to Hello, because where we're at now, it's just not my best work. And all the staff will say that, just not the best work's coming out, but we're trying to give people the hair they need and get them ready for whatever it is that's important to them. So anyway, I do the haircut, and we had a long consultation, and then she asked me to cut one side a little shorter, and then we dried it. She's like, well, now this side's too short. And I just, off my game, I probably would have advised her to wait till I blow dried it. But again, I'm just not on my A game. End of story. I finished the haircut, and I was like, if we need to tweak anything, let me know. Happy to have you back in, and I can take a look at it. She's like, no, it's fine, whatever. And I feel, because of the space we're in now, there's a lot of things that are going on that remind me of old salons I've been in the past, and just things that I took that from inspiration when we started to create Hello. But I've sort of forgot how some salons operate because I haven't been in them in so long. Anyway, we go up to check out, and my first thought is I should discount this haircut because she's not extremely happy, but I did give her what she asked for, and I did a great job. The haircut looked freaking amazing. And it was interesting that I thought that, because I would never think of that at Hello. I would just be like, this is like, everything about the experience is so amazing. And I think because I'm not able to deliver the experience at the same level, so many things that go into it, this first thought came into play. I did not discount the haircut. Proud of myself, but it was very interesting how some old bad habits, because I would have done that in the past at my old salon or other salons, creeped in within 4 weeks. Within 4 weeks, like everything I've changed and grown and evolved into has basically crumbled back to my old hairdresser self. Like I said, I didn't do it, but those thoughts were there. And just sharing, because I think we all go through the thoughts of, should I discount? We don't feel like we delivered. But I think it also reminded me of the experience we offer at Hello starts with the atmosphere they walk into. Everything that we do, it's not just the haircut. And I know at the place we're at temporarily, it's just not at that same level. And it makes me appreciate what we had and look forward to being back in that space again. And being in the home stretch, I feel like I have less patience for everything right now because I just want to be back there. But anyway, hope that helps.
All right, I have two quick ones. So my first one is autopilot, which ties into this episode. And the other day I was driving somewhere and I thought to myself, and I don't even know why I thought this, but I thought, why do I go this way? This is the way I go all the time. And so it clicked in my head and I started thinking, how many other areas of our lives do we just sort of autopilot on? Because we talk about that with business a lot. When you autopilot, you become complacent. So as I'm driving, I'm like, there are times where they change or fix a road, or they add a light, or they add something that makes it more convenient to go another way. So I actually checked and I realized that I was going a longer way. Now, maybe it's more convenient for me because I like skipping lights. I really enjoy back roads, things like that. But it's worth every once in a while trying to do like a quick assessment on your life, and not everything, but if you're taking the same exact route every day somewhere, ask yourself why. Why are you doing that? And maybe it is the most efficient way to go. Maybe it is the best way to go, or maybe there's a store on the way that you stop at, or whatever. But I think it's worth assessing.
I like it.
My second opening take, because I get to do two because it's my show, so I can do whatever I want, is retail. I come from the gym industry before the hair industry, and nobody in the gym industry got mad because you could buy protein shakes or bars or supplements at other stores outside of your gym. Nobody I knew. I've never heard that complaint. In the hair industry, every single day, why is Amazon allowed to sell these? This isn't professional. There's no professional products anymore. If they don't get them through us, look, you can't change, impact, or influence what Amazon does. You can't. You're too little. You can't change, impact, or influence what these global manufacturers are doing. It's not going to stop. It's not going to change. So I think a better solution might be to evolve and sort of explore some different opportunities. If you are so hell-bent on being a retail front, then you have to operate like a retail front. What would you do to sell more retail? Just using these are supposed to be professional products and these are only supposed to be for us. That's not changing anything. You're just bitching.
Mm-hmm.
And if you need to vent, that's totally cool, but you're not affecting anything. You're not impacting anything, and you're not solving what the actual problem is. The actual problem is you need more sales, probably. So that's what you're trying to make up, and you're mad at Amazon. But again, being mad at Amazon is not going to solve your problem. So maybe it's looking into online stores. Maybe it's focusing on what you should be focusing on, which is providing services. Again, I'm not judging. If somebody's like, I love having a retail front, cool. But you need to operate it differently. And it's not going to run like it ran in the 2000s, where people just, in the early 2000s or 90s or wherever, where people came to salons to buy their products. That's just not the way of the world. We don't go to the store to buy any of the products anymore.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think that affects other stores? Do you think they're just complaining about it? They're either going out of business or they're adapting. Because you can get every single thing that you need without leaving your house.
Mm-hmm.
Stop arguing if that's good or bad. It's irrelevant to the topic. But I just wanted to point that out. Go solve an actual problem. All right, let's get into this episode. So I was thinking about this the other day, and most salon owners stay stuck, but it's not because they lack effort. It's because nothing ever changes. There's no structural changes. So how many times have we seen, Jen, salons that will go for like 10, 20, 30 or longer years, and then all of a sudden, poof, they vanish.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sad.
And that should scare people, first of all, because if a salon can be there for, say, 2 or 3 decades and then not even sell, they just close.
Yeah.
That means what they're doing didn't work, unless their goal was never to sell this business, which I don't know why you would build a business if you're not treating it like an asset.
Mm-hmm.
But most people don't. Most people start off, and I think kind of, I don't want to say the word luck out because maybe that's a little generic, but I think what does happen for people is they do find quick success in the beginning and they just sort of ride that and they're like, oh, this will just work. And then nothing gets structurally changed.
Mm-hmm.
Again, most owners are hardworking. How many salons have we seen, Jen, where the owner is like, if I don't work 792 hours, nothing, like there's no money.
Right.
So they're not adverse to working long hours. They're not adverse to constantly living in stress and solving problems. They're not adverse to having fully booked schedules that are double and triple. And I saw one person that was like, I have 6 chairs at my salon, so I can only have one other person. And someone was like, wait, what? And they were like, yeah, I have 3 assistants and then I just use 5 chairs to myself all day. And I'm just like quintuple booked or whatever. And I'm like, that's got to be an interesting experience. But what happens if an assistant goes down with an illness?
Or
like,
you.
Yeah. Or like your assistant misses a couple days because they get the flu, and now you're 3 chairs like it's just crazy that. So I know it's not. I know it's not coming from people being afraid to work because they're just not. But then say you fast forward like 5 years and there's not been a change. Everything looks, if you look structurally, like you look under the hood of the business, or what was that show? It was like a restaurant takeover maybe, where they were like, they're going to open the books. And I used to like watching that show.
Was good. I forget what it's called. Maybe
was it John Taffer?
I think so.
Bar takeover, bar rescue?
Yeah, I think that was it.
So if you look under the hood of the business, nothing's changed and they're just sort of floating by. So if nothing's changed, you're going to have the same level of stress. Your business is going to have the same limitations. And obviously that means you're going to have the same ceiling, which if you haven't adjusted with inflation, now you're lower. You're actually behind the ball.
Yeah. And then the uphill battle is even steeper, right? Because if you're not changing even little baby steps, then when you get to some point things aren't working, there's so many major changes you have to make. And if you were to do them all right away, it would kill your business. And generally at that point, you need to make really major big decisions because you haven't made any small ones over the time period. So it's way harder. You're putting yourself in a way harder position.
Do you think this is where a lot of salons deal with like walkouts and stuff when they just try to, or they try to make too many changes? Or is that something different? I don't know. That just popped in my mind.
I would assume,
because we had, I don't know if we'd call it a walkout, but we had pretty much our entire staff leave when we made major changes early on with our business.
Yes, true. But I would go to say that because the changes are so uncomfortable and most often people resist anything that has a feeling of being uncomfortable. So I would say the owner would be in a position where she or he knows he has to make these changes, but are too afraid to do it. And I would say the walkout almost comes before that because people are like, I want something different. I want something new. I want certain things. Now, not to say if you made the change, they wouldn't walk out either way, because even though they want the change, they may not really want the change. But generally, I don't see people wanting to be uncomfortable and they're avoiding it. And when they think of changing it, just like when someone raises their prices, they're going to think of everybody that pushes back so they don't do it. And then eventually the staff is like, nothing's changing here. Nothing's new. And since there's a new salon popping up every other month, I'm going to go try that one out.
Yeah, that whole concept, and we're going down a different rabbit hole here, but that whole concept of the walkout, is that even a thing anymore? I feel like it used to be popular, like trendy. Like I was part of the walkout or whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. I have seen some of them, yes, recently, but I don't, again, that type of salon, like what I was saying in my opening take, I forgot that those exist. So yes, I would say for sure. I think like where Hello is at, you have a culture and they want to protect it, whatever. And I believe they're super respectful of all the time and effort we've given. So if somebody were to want to leave, they would want to let us know and be thankful for everything that we've given them over the time that we are building business relationships. So it's a little different.
Interesting. Yeah. So anyways, back to the effort part. I think it's effort can maintain your business for a bit, but unless you change the structure, you're not going to evolve. I think
Right.
that's the biggest takeaway from that first little blurb that I had there. I think another part of this too is that most businesses are built reactively.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody will open a salon, say, and they just start doing hair.
Right.
And then a problem happens and they go, oh, I have to deal with this problem. And then they deal with the problem. And then it doesn't get systematized.
Right.
So now you're dealing with that problem over and over again. And then you have the next problem pop up.
Uh-huh.
So you're dealing with that. So you're really kind of just putting out fires here and there. And you're never really intentionally sitting down to build a structurally sound business.
Right.
And again, it sounds overwhelming because if you've never done it and you've opened up, say you opened up 6 months ago to a year and you're like, I need systems for everything. I'm putting out fires.
Mm-hmm.
It's exhausting. I need help. You're going to be overwhelmed. It's going to seem like a lot, but all you have to do really is set aside, right? And this goes back to the episode that we did about the modes, realizing what
Mm-hmm.
mode you're in. You can't do this while you're in operation mode. So this is going to be your strategy planning if it's to do with your marketing or whatever. If it's to do with your staff, that's going to be a leadership mode. So you've got to figure out what mode you're in. Go back and listen to that episode if you haven't. And sit down for maybe an hour or two a week. That's it. And look at a problem that you're solving over and over again and just create a system to solve it. So that way you don't even have to think about it. Whatever the problem is, no matter how big or how small, it can be systematized. And then once you're
It needs
not,
to be.
yeah, it needs
Yeah.
to be if you want to build an actual business. And so what happens over time is you're not dealing with all the small
Mm-hmm.
problems all day. So when you have a big problem come up and you go into that crisis mode where you're solving problems in real time, it's not as overwhelming.
Right.
Is it overwhelming? Yeah, sure. Like when we walked in and there was, several inches of water in our salon. Yeah, that's overwhelming. That sucks. We don't want to deal with that. But we had systems in place. So when we moved our staff, they knew how to operate.
Mm-hmm.
They knew all the things. They knew the standards. You know what I mean? So we didn't have to solve all those same problems in a new space.
I think too here, a big one is, like you said, set aside the time, whether it's daily or weekly. It's as a leader or a business owner, you need to have reflection all the time. And so that might be taking notes on what Todd said, like all of the things that aren't going right in that day and that day. And then at some point you have to reflect on it and create those solutions. But I think what most do is like, I'll get to that next week. I'll get to that next week. And now you're at the end of a month or 2 months and you haven't reflect or, like you said, put any systems in place for those little fires. And they just keep getting bigger and bigger, or the same thing over and over. And now you have no patience. And now before you know it, you're just freaking out.
I was on mute there. Yeah, you have to, again, set aside the time and define it. So today I'm working on systems. I'm going into systems mode and I'm going to spend 2 hours on this and just work. And if you get one system done, great.
Yeah.
If you get 5 done, even better,
Yeah.
whatever. It doesn't matter.
Just
But
something.
even if you start and you go, all right, I have to go pick up my kid from basketball practice. I'm going to have to put this aside, but you've started it.
Yeah.
So now you can come back, you're halfway done or you're almost done. You can button it up and you can move on to the next system that you're creating. But set aside the time and define it. Again, I think it was like 2 episodes ago that we talked about that framework.
Mm-hmm.
And it really helps me. When I sit down to do stuff, I'm like, okay, what mode do I need to be in? Where do I need my mind to be focused so that I don't get distracted?
Yeah.
Because it's easy to start thinking about like, oh, the laundry's not getting folded. That's stupid stuff that like you shouldn't be thinking about. You should have a system for the laundry where like the silly stuff, take care of that stuff first.
Yeah. It keeps your brain out of chaos. That's how I look at it. And mine's
Exactly,
in chaos a lot.
Again, because you're going to have those chaotic times. That's what we sort of deemed crisis mode,
Yes.
And yeah, I guess so. When you allow your business to be built reactively like that, what's going to happen is you're going to have this accumulation of problems that you're just over time, they're just built up. And then it's very overwhelming to fix. You can do it, but we have seen people that have no systems in place whatsoever. There's nothing. They have to do everything. And that presents you with a whole other issue. No, I actually think we're going to talk about that. I think that's next week's topic. When I don't have like titles, but it's basically like when you switch from being a hairdresser or hairstylist to an owner.
Great.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons that people fall into this category too is because like these familiar patterns that, like I was talking about in my opening take, they feel safe. Even though they're not, they limit your growth. But this is psychology too, but human beings, we're always going to default to the easiest. Yeah. Whatever the easiest path, A to B, that's what we're going to take. That's what we're going to do. And even if we have systems that need to be repaired because they're not ideal, or they've stopped working because your salon has evolved or changed or done something else, you have these old systems, they still feel safe because that's what you've always done. That's what you start to hear from people. We've always done it this way though. Yeah, but that's not working.
Right. And why,
And yeah, the other thing people struggle with, at least from what I see, is that uncertainty. So when you start to make changes, you start to see stuff. I see this online a lot, Jen, where people will say, I really want to bring in fish, but I'm afraid my staff won't embrace it.
Yeah.
Well,
that's why they won't embrace it, because you're afraid.
Because you're afraid, and you're coming to them with uncertainty.
Yeah.
Which means now you're hesitating. And when you hesitate, people's ears perk up like a dog smelling fear. Like human beings, we can tell when someone is not certain about something. Watch the news. Watch the politicians. When they're like, and they're trying to walk themselves back from what they were thinking or what they were saying. You see that. It's a pattern that people display that is, you can pick it up. You can perceive it really easy. So if you're going to hesitate with bringing in Vish or whatever salon or color management system or something like Tippy or whatever, if you're going to bring in some new system and you're not totally sold on it, your staff's going to pick that up real quick and they're going to be like, why am I doing this?
Right. They're going to feel the exact same energy that you're putting out.
How many times, Jen, so you worked for Vish for a little bit.
I did.
How many times would you go into a salon and the owner would run off and hide in the office?
Every single time.
That's not leadership. You're showing your staff uncertainty, or you're showing them they have to do something that you're not going to do, or that you're hiding, or whatever reason.
That's actually why I didn't continue, because nobody was like on board with it. It was very odd.
Interesting.
Yeah. It was not very welcoming when you'd bring in technology. But yeah, I mean, it would come from the owner. I mean, we said this in one episode, like when we realized it was going to be weeks for Hello, I made a video for the staff, hey, tomorrow at 11, you're going to meet me at the salon. This is what you're going to do. And then we're going to head over and this is where we're going to work and I'll be with you. And every single person showed up. If I had come from a place of like, hey guys, like all of that would have been like their anxiety would have gone through the roof and they wouldn't have listened to anything else I said. Instead, they were like, Jen and Todd got us, so let's show up. Like it's how you do it.
Excuse me. Or if you had said, here's the address, guys. And you just let them go over there.
Like just let them out. Figure it out. No, we're all doing this together and we bring it all together as a team. We're going on this adventure together as a team. And when you preface it in a way that it's like, this is exciting and we're going to do this together and I got you, they still are going to have whatever they're going to have, whatever they're going to feel it, but they believe in what you're bringing in is going to be better for them.
Agreed. Sorry, I hit the wrong button there. I'm all over the place today on this board. Usually I'm pretty good at running it. All right, let's move on to something that I brought up earlier, which was that early success, I suppose, can create that long-term stagnation or complacency, which is just a word that we use for that. But it is stagnation, right? When you're not moving forward, you're moving backward by definition. So what happens early on when somebody opens a salon? It's new.
Shiny
new. So the salon, it's going to fill up. People are going to come check it out. You're going to have income coming in. You're going to have happy people because people love checking stuff out. and nothing is going to feel broken at all.
Until the dust settles.
But then, yeah, you get into that. We've done episodes on this too, the messy middle.
Mm-hmm.
Get into that where you've gone so long without anything being redesigned, or you don't have a system, or if you do have a system, you haven't really pushed it to its limit, or you haven't tested it.
You're doing they should already know. They should just know. That's where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And so what that creates is like a lack of urgency. Why would I rethink this stuff? This stuff has always worked for me. And maybe you're a few years in and you're noticing, oh, my numbers are kind of going down, or they've plateaued, and I just can't seem to break out. So now you get into these times of the year are just slow because your business becomes stable in one way, but in another way, it's dangerous because that stability masks your limitations. And you don't think that they're there. I've talked to people that are like, oh no, things are amazing. Things are so great. And I'm like, you've been open for 3 weeks.
They should be amazing and great in the beginning.
Yeah, of course. It's all shiny and brand new.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't let that stability hide the structural limits of your business, because that's really what it's doing.
Again, this part comes back to reflection again. Like if you're not always checking in or testing your systems, Todd, you talk about that all the time. At some point, it's going to reveal itself to you. And it's probably when there's a bunch of other stuff, and it's going to be a lot.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I guess early success is actually has the potential to slow down that long-term evolution.
Right. Because you're riding the high and you haven't felt the low yet.
Right. And it's easy for us to get sucked in, not just like people starting out, but it's like human nature. It's easy for us to get sucked in to, oh, things are good, so they're always going to stay good if I don't change anything. Right.
Yeah.
It's like when people ignore their numbers. Jen, you talked about this actually a lot early on in this podcast, where you would bury your head in the sand with the numbers, and look, the rent got paid, the payroll got covered every month, so might as well just not pay attention to those numbers and it'll work out. But then there's this stress that starts building up over the years, and you arrive at a point where I need to understand this stuff. And then it's overwhelming to look backwards because, well, you realize the potential you missed. You realize that you could have been a stronger leader. You realize that you could have learned more about business, whatever it looks like for you or for whoever's listening, So,
and then you don't even know where to start because it's too many things.
And then what should they do
at that
when
point?
That happens? Yeah.
You've got to hone in on changing one thing. I would go for the numbers first. I'd sit down with my accountant and ask them to help. Or, I mean, you could hire a mentor, but I would say if you have a good accountant, we have a great one, I'd go there first. Like, what am I missing? What do I need to know? And the accountant can help you on some of the financial business side. So that would be where I would start.
Yeah. What I was thinking that you were going to say, what I was trying to set you up to say was, you don't have to know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You don't have to know what you don't know. Just ask. Just
you need to know where to ask for help.
Yeah, you can go to your accountant. You can go to a business mentor. You can go to, a pricing structural guru on Instagram. You can go to whoever, and you can say, I don't know even what help I need. I just know I need help. And if they're worth anything, they should be able to figure out where you need help and then guide you along. All right. So we understand that we've been complacent and we want to make some changes. And how do we get that shift going? That's where
that's what needs
your mindset. Yeah, that's where your mindset has to change, right? And the shift is going to happen only when the owner of the business starts thinking differently.
Yeah.
That's the only time. I don't understand, or I can't identify any other time that there would be a shift in a business for the positive without the leadership changing their thinking. You could add, I see people too that are like, well, I'm adding a manager. That's not going to solve your problems because your manager is not going to know what to do, just like you don't know what to do.
That's just a lot of times I see you're hiring that manager to just hide behind that person because you are not strong enough or confident enough to deal with conflict, to have hard conversations. That's a skill you need to work on. So before you hire a manager, Work on those skill sets first, because now you're going to have them with your manager. And if you can't do that, and you can't do that in a way that's effective and shows that you know what you're doing, the manager's going to quit. So now what are you doing?
I I think manager is misused in the salon industry, in a lot of industries too. And it is to hide behind for owners, but I also think it's to put out all the little fires that you refuse to create
Yeah.
systems for. So you get yourself like a little enforcer
Mm-hmm.
that is a key holder that runs around the salon yelling at everyone that's not doing things correctly, but they don't know what they should be doing because you haven't
Told
set out
anybody.
clear systems. So what a manager, if I was going to bring on a manager at Hello, that manager would be running the leadership modes of our salon. That manager would be the one doing the one-on-one meetings with the staff, not me. Why would I do them? I have a manager.
Yep.
What would be the point of having a manager? It's not someone that turns your lights on and makes sure your trash is taken out. That's not a manager. But that's how I see a lot of managers being used in the salon industry. So that was just a off the side interesting thought that I just had too. But so how do salon, back to the point here, how do salon owners start to think differently? They have to start to realize that working or outworking their problems is not going to solve them.
Mm-hmm.
Picking up another shift at the salon or working extra hours or, pulling an all-nighter to fit clients in, that's not going to change anything. Sure, you're going to generate revenue, but you're still going to have the same problems or more.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing is that you've got to shift your mode, right? I'm really digging this framework that we created. Mm-hmm. Super simple, but you have to shift your mode and you have to get out of operations mode and then into whatever it is, the systems or the strategy or the leadership or whatever. And then only by stepping back from out behind the chair will your eyes be able to see clearly
the bigger picture. Yeah.
Because when you're behind the chair and you're getting irritated with your staff because they left the lights on or whatever stupid little problem that you have, you're still not solving it. You're behind the chair. You need to be focused and dialed in on your clients. Mm-hmm. So those are two different things. I think another thing is, but owners need to ask better questions. Instead of stuff like, are you mad that Amazon sells hair products? That's a silly question. Why are we come on. Hey, how can I capitalize on retail? I really want to push my retail this year. What are some things I can do? What are clients, a modern client, what are they looking for? What do they want? And then solve those problems. I'll give you one right here, okay, off the top of my head. Something Amazon can't do. And they're probably going to come up with this before I publish this episode, right? They can't specifically recommend a set of products designed to solve your client's specific hair needs. Mm-hmm. I mean, not yet. AI's here, so they'll probably do that soon. They probably just heard it when I spoke it into this microphone. What you can do if you want to push retail is curate stuff for your clients. We talked about that, I think, a little bit with the boutique
I think so too.
Which was last week. So if you really want to be boutique and you really want to dial in on your client experience, maybe you don't carry these lines even, but you say, hey, Alice, I couldn't think of a name. I don't even know an Alice.
I don't either.
Alice in Wonderland. So
coming soon.
You could say, hey, Alice, for your hair, I think you should have this shampoo and conditioner. You should have this heat protectant product, and you should have this treatment. So I'm going to order it for you, and then you can pick it up. Or I'm going to order it for you, and it's going to get shipped right to your house.
Personalization.
And then what you're doing is, and some people out there just thought, well, I don't have time to do that. That's because you're trying to do all the hair behind the chair. Right. So you have to start to think different and ask better questions. And think about the structure of your business too, not just the operations, not just the day-to-day behind the chair, but what does your business look like? What is it built to do? What problems do you solve for people? What do you want out of your business? When's the last time you even thought about that?
Right.
Most people just want to say they're a boss. Let's face it, right? That's why renting in the hair industry is so popular.
Yeah.
Because most people just want to be quote unquote boss babe and they don't care about anything else. We've talked to these people. We've talked to people that make less money renting than they would working for someone else, but they get to say they're a boss.
Right.
If that's what you want, I can't argue with that because you're not willing to change your thinking. So I would ask yourself what you want out of the business. How can the business provide that for me? What can I build? For us, team is important. I don't know why. Jen and I both have this thing where we want to create a team. We want to build teams. We like it. I think for me, it comes from restaurants. Like I loved hiring people and I'm like, this person's going to be a great fit, and like piecing together teams that work well together and support each other so that it's not like a poorly run restaurant where you have one section that's out of control and then another section that's running super smooth. And then you have a manager running around like out of control, but it's everyone lifts everyone up. Everyone helps everyone because everyone knows how to do everything. Everyone knows what the standard is. So think about your business in that way, And then the last thing, we can move on or close rather, is that you should be designing your business intentionally and not reactively. So if you find yourself putting out fires constantly and then you notice like, I'm putting out this fire a lot, it doesn't need to be that way. Example, I see people that are like, I've tried online booking, but yeah, it's 2026 and still a thing. I've tried online booking. People always book the wrong thing. Okay, why? Ask yourself why. What are you not explaining? What could your website say better? Well, I don't have a website. Okay, look, like I don't know what to tell you. But you got to start thinking and designing your business with intention.
And taking ownership for the problems that are happening rather than blaming everybody else. Again, you're the leader, so it starts with you.
It's not the client's fault they booked the wrong thing. It's your fault.
Yeah, there's something that you need to change, or have a friend go through and see get opinions on it. Like you may not like what they have to say, but you need to understand when there's a problem happening over and over again, why is that happening? And you need that feedback.
Agreed. All right, let's close. I'm going to give people, if they're still listening, thank you, by the way, but none of this is criticism. Jen and I really want to help people. And so we think about the problems that I think a lot of people just miss in this industry, and we try to make them aware. So it's not criticism, it's just awareness. And most owners out there, if you're listening, especially if you're listening to a podcast like ours, like you are capable of evolving. Like you can do it.
Yeah.
You just have to step outside of how you've always done things, or you have to step outside of the structure of how things are now so that you can see things that need to change.
I like where you said, like, have you recently even had like a vision of where you want your business in the future? If you can create that, then you can work it backwards or forwards, however you want to look at it, with a map on how to get there. And what does that look like? Like old school outline, right? But if you don't have a vision of where you want your business to be, or like a business you'd want to be in all the time, right? Then you're never going to know how to even start because you don't have that clear picture laid out.
Yeah, I agree. And I think you said it's old school, like the map or whatever.
Like an outline, old school outline. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think that's old school at all. I think that's what people should be doing, because that's like a spine, like a backbone for your business to build off of, for sure. It's like it sounds super corporate, but when you use like SMART goal setting, it's effective. Yeah. It works. We use it with our staff. I might not sit down and be like, what is your specific goal for this quarter? How can we measure it?
If you did, you have to talk like that.
Is it attainable goal? Is it a reasonable goal? Like I don't do that. Okay, let's create a time frame for it. But if you use that framework, it's pretty effective of getting people to where they want to be. So it will work.
And it shows them the map on how to get there.
Exactly. All right, I think that's it, right?
Okay.
We're good. We'll wrap it up. All right, thanks for listening. Bye, everyone.
Have a great day.